I am getting married soon. A man stands beside a hospital bed, looking down at a woman wearing a ventilator. Married. The woman opens her eyes with difficulty. Her voice weak. Why are you suddenly talking about this? Who are you getting married to? The man silently looks at her, the corners of his lips turning up slightly. Sa Yi Hyung. Yes. Sa Yi Hyung. Wa Sa Yi Hyung. When I was young, I was always alone. She was the only one who actively talked to me, so I trust her more than anyone else. Impossible. Hyung Myo's pupils contract sharply, tears welling up from her eyes. Since when did you two develop that kind of relationship? You are joking, right? Tell me you are joking. The man lowers his eyelids, a heavy sigh falling onto the hospital room. The man turns his face away, his gaze icy cold. Anyway, you will not live long anyway. I am not asking for your blessing. I just hope you understand. For those of us who are still alive. He turns and walks toward the door. Goodbye. Hyung Myo struggles, wanting to sit up. Wait. She collapses onto the bed weakly, the face under the ventilator filled with despair. Why is it so awful? Why is my life so bitter? Having just been informed I do not have many days left to live. My family has already started eyeing my assets. Even more laughable, my best friend, along with my lover, betrayed me. I want to die. The ripples on the heart monitor jump wildly, then become a flat line. A long beep tearing apart the tranquility. A voice echoes in the void. Hyung Myo. Miss Wa Hyung Myo. I startle awake. Yes, yes. Hyung Myo looks around in all directions, her gaze blurred. A man in a suit with a halo above his head appears, holding a clipboard, a apologetic smile on his face. Oh, I am truly very sorry. It seems that when Miss Hyung Myo was born, our system had a bit of an error. Hyung Myo looks bewildered. What? System error? She points at the halo above the man's head. That thing on your head is... By the way, where is this? I remember I should be in the hospital. The man in the suit tilts his head slightly. Well, you still have not realized. A serious expression. Miss Hyung Myo, you passed away at 6:08 p.m. this evening, reaching the end of your life. The man clears his throat. In short, instead of thinking about those things, why not continue our previous topic? Please look at this. He holds out a document. What do you mean those things? This is a sky-falling big deal to me. The man in the suit explains. This is your birth state. Miss Hyung Myo, do you see these parameters for appearance, ability, assets, and health? Hyung Myo looks down at the document. Ah, I see them, but, due to an oversight, Miss Hyung Myo, your love parameter was set to 0. Hyung Myo's pupils contract sharply. What did you say? The man in the suit continues to explain. These parameter values are adjusted based on your previous life state, so a love parameter of 0 is basically impossible. The document clearly states, name, Wa Hyung Myo, love 0. The man in the suit bows deeply, error warnings flashing on his halo. It seems that due to my negligence, an incorrect entry was made. I sincerely apologize for this. The man gives a forced smile, a drop of cold sweat trickling down his forehead. He holds out a document. Written on it, name. Hyung Myo interrupts him. Wait, could it be that the reason I had no love was this? The man nods awkwardly. Ah yes, roughly like that. But because of your weak constitution and early demise, you can start your next life faster. As compensation, we will let you freely choose your birthplace in your next life. Is this guy trying to comfort me? Saying dying early is a good thing. Hyung Myo roars. Stop joking, sending me into such a miserable life. The man's eyes dart around. Well then, we will also give you a special benefit. After all, due to my mistake, you lived a life without love. Hyung Myo tilts her head. Special benefit. The man spreads his hands wide. Yes, but this is a secret. What is with this guy anyway? The man shows a confident smile. I believe that this way, your next life will be much more interesting. Hyung Myo looks suspicious. The man holds up a glowing board. Well then, you can reincarnate into any world you desire. Hyung Myo looks up at the board, surprise flashing in her eyes. Any world. The man answers affirmatively. Yes, anywhere you want to go. Any time is fine. The man's voice echoes. Whether it is a fictional world in a novel or movie, or the past, present, and future, anything is possible. A hand gently turns an hourglass. Time begins to flow. Please imagine the world you want to go to. Hyung Mayo's eyes are dazed. But, I do not have anywhere special I want to go. The man smiles and suggests. Then, have you read any interesting books recently? His finger light touch. Virtual cards appear in the air one by one, each depicting a different story world. Hyung Mayo's gaze is drawn. Then, for some reason, the romance novel Sa Yi Hyung recommended to me suddenly popped into my mind. Hyung Mayo makes up her mind. Let us choose this one. The man claps his hands happily. Much faster than I expected. He points toward an opening door. Well then, please step through that door. The man smiles and urges. Right, please go in. Hyung Mayo hesitatingly looks at the door. Going there. Hyung Mayo takes a deep breath. All right, she steps forward, walking step by step toward the door leading to a new life. The feeling is a bit strange. Her body seems to be tilting. The man suddenly speaks up. All right, Miss Hyung Mayo. Hyung Mayo turns her head back. What? The man explains. Your statuses were originally unequal. So adjustments will be made in the next life. Hyung Mayo grabs his collar. What does that mean? The man waves goodbye. Well then, good luck in your next life. Hyung Mayo's body begins to become translucent. Data fragments peeling off from her. She screams in horror. Wait, light swallows everything, leaving only a futile shout. Sunlight passes through the tall window, illuminating a splendid gilded room. Carved walls and luxurious furniture quietly telling of the extravagance here. A female attendant's gentle voice sounds. Oh, how lovely. Around the large bed, maids gather. Another female attendant exclaims in admiration. Master, this princess is truly too adorable. A warm hand gently strokes the child's head. Welcome to the Duchy of Paisi. Flora. A silver-haired man bends down, his eyes full of tenderness. Come to Papa. He carefully lifts the child up. I am Flora. Did I really reincarnate? The man gazes at the child in his arms. The surrounding maids letting out gasps of admiration. My goodness, so cute. Flora, nice to meet you. The female attendant discovers in surprise. My goodness, Her Highness the Princess smiled. Flora in swaddling clothes lets out a satisfied chuckle. Flora, a cute name. I really want to see my healthy appearance soon. The underworld official this life finally did his job properly. Currently I am 6 years old. Still growing up under the care of my family. Yet, Flora shuts her eyes tight. Both hands clutching her chest with flickering light. Damn underworld system. She is Flora, 6 years old, youngest daughter of Duke Paisi. Flora holding a treasure to her chest. Light flickering slightly. The man's figure appears in her mind. He once said, your statuses were originally unequal. So adjustments will be made in the next life. Flora's face flushes red, her gaze full of bewilderment. Is this the so-called adjustment? Although I was born into a distinguished family that produces swordmasters generation after generation. Because I cannot display any ability. I am extremely. Flora closes both eyes, tears silently falling. She crosses her arms. No, try again. Flora leans backward, all 4 limbs spread out. Her expression full of despair. No matter how hard I try. This pitiful mana of mine has not changed at all over the past 6 years. It has not increased, nor decreased. My father is a swordmaster. My mother is a mage of the magic tower. My eldest brother Kalaman is an even greater sword genius. Even my younger twin siblings, Robert and Armin, are exceptionally gifted. Why am I the only one? Oh, forget it. I want to eat something sweet. Flora takes a cookie, stuffs it into her mouth, enjoying the sweetness for a moment. Suddenly, her red eyes widen. Could it be? The cookie slides from the corner of her crooked mouth, falling onto the floor. Is my next life a failure too? Flora's whole body stiffens, her pupils contracting in fear. Northern region of the Carcassan Empire. A majestic white castle stands tall in the snow. Flora huddles her face into a thick fur coat, shivering from the cold. So cold, I will probably never get used to this. Maybe it is because I am still a child. Flora crawls quickly, running inside into the warm house. So cold, so cold. Must hurry inside. The northern winter is famous for severe cold and blizzards. The Pacey family being able to take root in this harsh land is because they are the only ones who can defeat the high-level monster beasts here. Hence they are also called the Monster Duke family. However, I am the only one in this house without ability and stamina. Robert tightly hugs Flora. Flora, come here quickly and play. Armin on the side panics. You cannot hug her so tightly. Flora struggles. Save me. Flora's face turns slightly red. Her gaze dazed. This is so strange. Why is only my body so weak? A loud noise. The door is pushed open forcefully. Flora, are you inside? Flora startles. Brother Robert. Robert scratches his head standing at the door. A bewildered look. Sorry, I did not mean to push so hard. How sturdy is Robert's room door anyway? Armin looks at Robert reproachfully. Hey, can you not control your hand strength a bit? Calaman turns his face away awkwardly. I did not mean to either. These are my younger twin siblings, Robert and Armin. Because my health is not good, they always take great care of me. Robert and Armin smile and reach out their hands. Flora, let us build a snowman together. Although they are only 12 years old, they always try hard to play the role of older brother and sister. Flora wraps her white coat tightly, hesitating a bit. Building a snowman. She looks down at herself. Me. Weather like today is best suited for sitting by the fireplace drinking hot cocoa. Going outside in cold weather like this, I will definitely catch a cold. A pair of clean leather boots stops at the door. Coloman's voice comes through. Flora, I built a snowman outside. You should go look. Robert and Armin are also there. Flora looks up. Brother Calaman. She immediately breaks free from the twins' arms. Cheering excitedly. Let us go. You finished building it. Thank you so much. Calaman scoops Flora up. She smiles happily in his arms. Robert and Armin protest angrily. We invited her to play first. You are so unfair. Calaman chuckles softly. Inviting her to build a snowman and inviting her to see a snowman are two completely different things. Flora is brought to the balcony, looking down at the snow-white courtyard. Wow. A giant snowman stands in the middle of the yard, wearing a bucket hat and a pink scarf. Robert and Armin gasp in shock. So big. When did you build such a giant snowman? Flora's face flushes red, her eyes full of admiration, as expected of Brother Calaman. But as soon as I came outside, my nose started running. A gentle female voice speaks. Flora, wearing so little you will catch a cold. Mother is coming to carry you. Come quickly. Flora's body feels light, carried into her mother's warm embrace. Ah, mother smiles gently. Come, mother carries you. Do you feel warmer now? Flora nuzzles into her mother's neck. Mother holding me. I do not feel cold at all anymore. In the distance, Robert sits alone crouching in the snow. What is brother Robert doing? A snowball flies over, hitting mother right on the back. Flora cries out in fear. Mother. Father gently hugs mother. Oh my Flora was startled. Mother also smiles looking toward the snow pile. Flora, they are playing snowball fight. Do we want to join? The snowman looks bewildered. Ah, what? Me. Flora stands beside the snowman. This is different from the snowball fight I know. Not quite the same. On the snow pile, Robert and Armin are fiercely battling father and mother. Snowballs flying through the air. Exploding. Laughter and cheers echoing throughout the yard. Everyone laughing happily. Aiming snowballs at each other. But Flora is not sure. When snowballs fly at astonishing speeds and explode on impact, can this still be called playing a game? Calaman turns to the twins, instructing seriously. When throwing snowballs toward Flora, you must be very gentle. Robert and Armin immediately stand straight. Of course. Do not look down on us. We understand. They turn to face Flora. Bright smiles on their faces. Flora, come play snowball fight. Flora closes her eyes tight in fear. A snowball flies over quickly. Flora is hit head-on by the snowball, her whole body leaning backward. She screams and falls onto the snow pile. Ah! Flora's eyes turn into spirals. Completely dazed. Playing snowball fight. Turns out to be such a cruel survival game. Flora lies on the snow pile, sniffling. Mother. The whole family gathers around in terror. Ah, Flora. Robert's face full of regret. Rushing to her side. Flora, I am sorry. Father bends down, gently stroking Flora's head. Flora, are you all right? Robert asks frantically. Are you all right? Is your nose broken? Flora rubs her eyes, blood dripping from her nose. It hurts. A drop of blood falls onto the snow pile. Ah, Robert screams in terror. Flora, this is bad. Her nose is bleeding. As expected, this life is also destined not to be easy. Father slings Flora over his shoulder with one arm, striding hastily inside the house, shouting anxiously, Lucas, where are you? Lucas. Flora is shaken dizzy and lightheaded. Oh my, I am going to pass out. I feel like I am going to die. Not because of the nosebleed, but because of dizziness. How does this family survive in an environment like this anyway? Father finally stops. Flora pokes her head out from his shoulder. He finally stopped. A man wearing glasses hurries over. He is the Pacey family's resident doctor. Lucas, I am always very grateful for your care. Lucas looks shocked. Lady, what happened to you? Why are you bleeding from the nose? Father explains. She was hit by a snowball. She looks even weaker than before. Could she be sick? Flora replies weakly. I am fine, just a bit dizzy. I cannot tell him it is because Father carried me running that I got dizzy. Right. Flora sits on the chair. Bloody tissue papers placed on the table. She lets out a long sigh. Phew, the nosebleed finally stopped. Dr. Lucas turns to Flora's family. Just as I said before. Duke's daughter. Her body is extremely weak. Completely different from everyone else in the house. Flora turns her back to everyone. Her silver hair cascading down silently. I have heard this phrase since I was small. People of the Pacey family simply do not understand what weakness is. Nor do they know how to treat a weak person. I am the odd one out in the Pacey family. Luckily Lucas is here. Father looks at her with an apologetic face. Flora, Father is really sorry. Father will pay more attention in the future. Robert clenches both hands, eyes teary, apologizing. Flora, I am sorry. Calaman leans down looking at Flora on the bed, full of self-reproach. If only I had been a bit more careful. Flora, I am truly sorry. Does your nose still hurt? Flora smiles reassuringly. I am fine now. Thank you, Brother Calaman. Calaman instructs gently. Rest well. Flora, if you need anything call me anytime. He gently kisses her forehead. Flora closes her eyes. Flora lies on the bed. Phew, resting a bit. Feels much better. To be honest, my body parameters, why are they so weak? What is going on after all? Besides, the special benefit they mentioned. What on earth is it? Forget it. Thinking too much is useless anyway. I would rather go to sleep. He closes his eyes, falling into a dream. The frightened rabbit turns back. Its sharp claws tearing through the air, scratching hard against his back. He falls heavily to the ground, letting out a gasp. On the snow, a trail of blood stretches far away. The rabbit lets out a painful moan. It collapses weakly, its body twitching in the snow. I must leave here quickly. Consciousness gradually fading, it lets out a final plea. Someone save me, please save me. A figure in a black coat stops walking, his voice dropping low. Madam, do we need to keep looking? Snowflakes falling on dry branches, accumulating into a silver white. The mother beside him worries. We have searched enough. Let us stop here. Robert, it is almost morning. We must go back. Armin lowers his eyes, his voice full of disappointment. If only we could find more. The mother warmly embraces Armin and Robert. She gently comforts them. It is all right. Next time we will look together again. Armin and Robert nuzzle into her embrace, responding, Yes, mother. A slight noise comes from the bushes. Robert startles attentively, his eyes instantly becoming sharp. He breaks free from the embrace, turning and running toward the sound. I will go check it out. The mother raises her hand in panic. Robert runs without turning back, shouting, I will be right back. The mother chases behind. Wait, I am coming too. Robert parts the snow-covered bushes. It seems the sound came from here. He sees it, a pure white rabbit all over. huddled by the stream shivering. Its blood-red eyes filled with panic. Robert carefully picks up the rabbit, gently stroking its soft fur. Oh my! He sees the wound on the rabbit's leg, bleeding profusely. This rabbit seems to have been attacked by a monster. The mother approaches, looking at the pitiful small creature. That is right. Moreover, there is no mother rabbit around here. Leaving it here is dangerous. What should we do? Robert's eyes flash with expectation. Can we bring it back to the duchy? Flora will definitely be very happy if she sees it. He adds, I will place it in the subspace first, taking it to a safe place immediately. Armin hurriedly stops him. You cannot do that. That place is the most dangerous right now. Robert stops his action. Oh, sorry, Laura. The mother and Armin are both stunned. Laura, is that its name? Robert with a proud expression. I took it from Flora's name. How is it? Nice name, right? He happily holds the little rabbit in his arms. Armin and the mother look at each other and smile. It really does resemble Flora a bit. Sunlight passes through the thin silk curtains, covering the splendid room. Flora is fast asleep on the soft bed, her cheeks blushing red. She turns over, letting out a satisfied sigh. Kanai rests her chin on both hands, blankly gazing at Flora's sleeping face. Oh, what an adorable sleeping face. Looking just like a doll. She bends down, leaning close to Flora's ear, gently calling, Lady Flora. Flora murmurs in her sleep, the bridge of her nose wrinkling slightly. Kanai tears up with emotion, her hands tightly clasped together. She is just too cute. That is right. I must draw this appearance of the young lady again. Kanai, the maid who admires Flora the most in the duchy, started learning to draw 3 years ago, solely to capture every movement of her young master. Kanai's paintbrush dances on paper, sketching out the features of Flora sleeping peacefully. Her bangs have grown quite a lot. We must do a new hairstyle. Without magic to record images. This is her way of keeping the moments. A clumsy effort, yet deeply sincere. No matter which hairstyle, the young lady looks beautiful in all of them. Just imagining it makes one endlessly emotional. Eyes shining in Kanai's face. The tip of the pen makes a rustling sound on the paper, as if depicting a wordless hymn. Footsteps sound outside the door. Kanai turns her head, startled. Oh, young lady. I was about to. Armin raises his index finger to his lips. Shish. Kanai immediately grows quiet. Oh dear. Young master has arrived. Looks like I must temporarily yield my position. She quietly steps aside, watching Armin gently approach the bed. Armin bends down, tenderly watching Flora. My goodness. Flora holds a teddy bear, sleeping so peacefully. Her silver hair scattered on the pillow, like a bright moon ring. Armin holds his cheeks with both hands. So cute. Truly an angel. Robert also comes close, eyes filled with doting affection. He gently strokes the bedsheet. Flora's eyelashes flutter, slowly opening her eyes, a bright crimson hue appearing amidst her silver hair. She looks around dazed. Armin. Brother Robert. Armin and Robert say in unison. Flora, wake up quickly. We prepared a special gift for you. It is a gift. Flora blinks sleepily. A gift. Armin and Robert look at each other and smile. That is right. Downstairs. Do you want to go down and see now? Flora's eyes immediately light up, her cheeks glowing with a pink hue. In my previous life, I never imagined a scene like this. Back then. Flora is held by the hands of Armin and Robert, taking step by step down the grand staircase. Whether it was Christmas or birthday, I never received a gift. Compared to life back then, everything now feels like a dream. That one day, I could receive a surprise gift again. So happy. The three of them stop in front of a massive double door. Exquisite golden patterns carved on the door. Robert's hand placed on the door handle. All right, I am opening the door. Flora holds her breath. Yes. Armin and Robert forcefully pull open the large door. Bang 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 bang. Flora's pupils contract immediately. Behind the door, sunlight streaming through the window covers the space. On a lavish low table, an exquisite small golden bed is placed. On the small bed, a pure white rabbit huddles, its long ears drooping down, sleeping so soundly. Flora covers her mouth with both hands, eyes flashing with amazed light. My goodness. It is a rabbit. So cute. Robert explains proudly. Actually, we caught this rabbit in the field. The real gift is something else. He spreads his hand. A blue light gathers in his palm. Flora leans in curiously, looking around. Armin suddenly grabs Robert's shoulder from behind. Hey. Do not pull it out here. Robert with a confused look. Why not? Armin lowers his voice. Tone urgent. It should be shown at the training ground. It is dangerous here. Robert gets shaken by him. Robert realizes. Sorry. Flora tilts her small face up. Eyes full of confusion. What is wrong? Why are you suddenly panicking? She steps forward, asking curiously, what is the real gift? Robert and Armin's cheeks immediately flush red. As if struck in the heart by an invisible arrow. Armin and Robert close their eyes tight. Cheeks bright red. Although she is our younger sister. She is too pure. Too cute. Flora looks dazed. Why are they suddenly like this? Robert leans back, covering his face with his hand. I cannot stand it anymore. Armin, quickly cover my mouth. Armin immediately grabs Robert, raising his index finger toward Flora. The gift is a secret. We will show you more at the training ground. Flora nods dazed. Oh, all right. Flora tilts her head, cheeks glowing pink. If showing it here is too dangerous. What kind of gift could it be? I have a bad feeling. Mother appears at the door. She speaks gently. Good morning, Flora. Flora immediately rushes toward her. Mother. Mother embraces Flora, lifting her up high. You really are a clingy child. Flora. Flora buries her face into Mother's warm chest. So warm. Turns out this is the feeling of being loved. Mother gently strokes her hair. You seemed to sleep very well last night. Flora closes her eyes. Enjoying this peace. Robert looks up at Mother. Mother, can we take it out now? Can we not show it to her before breakfast? Mother smiles, eyes gentle. Would it not be better to wait until the whole family gathers? Robert feels a bit nervous. We have to wait until everyone gathers again. This makes me even more nervous. Mother concludes. Then let us go to the dining room together. The children cheer together. Yes. Flora responds excitedly. That is right. On the dining table full of exquisite food. Cakes, fruits, rich soup and bread, fragrance filling the air. Father sitting in the master seat looks over at Mother, asking casually, I heard you went up the mountain before dawn. Mother bows her head replying, that is right. Flora and Armin sit by the dining table, quietly waiting to eat. Mother smiles explaining, Robert wants to give Flora an apology gift. We originally intended to show her later. But do you and Calaman have time? Calaman squints his eyes smiling. As long as it is about Flora. I am always free. Father also chuckles along, of course. Me too. Flora holds her cup with both hands. Oh my, I cannot wait anymore. What could it be? Please do not make me nervous anymore. The whole family arrives at the training ground. Robert stands in the center, urging excitedly, hurry up, hurry up. He spreads his palm. A blue magic circle appears in midair. Light swirling around. A smug smile appears on Robert's face. Done. Flora, now let me show you. Flora looks at the scene before her in disbelief. Subspace. A giant white creature pokes its head out from the magic circle. Fluffy fur. Flora's eyes widen, pupils contracting in shock. Mouth agape. Speechless. That is. The divine beast suddenly opens its bloody mouth wide, revealing 2 rows of sharp fangs. Sharp claws lunging forward forcefully. Flora screams in fear, her body stiff with fear, eyes wide. Her pupils reflecting the image of the approaching beast. Mother looks in astonishment. Flora tightly hugs her leg, body trembling with fear. Do not come over here. Robert looks at Flora confusedly. Flora. Do you not like my gift? His face full of disappointment and hurt. Sorry, I thought you would like it. Flora carefully reaches out her hand, gently stroking the white creature's head. When its mouth is closed, it looks quite cute. The creature suddenly opens its wide mouth, showing a mouth full of sharp teeth. No. No matter how cute, it is still a monster. Robert smiles explaining, is it not very cute? Just like the pet I raised when I was little. That is why I caught it to give to you. Flora's face instantly contorts. You used to raise this kind of creature. Flora tightly holds onto Armin's skirt hem, her body trembling continuously. I knew it. This guy is not normal. Actually raising a monster. A stranger's voice sounds. May I say something? Armin and Mother turn around at the same time. Flora pokes half her head out from behind the skirt, fearfully looking toward the sound. The strange man politely places his hand on his chest. Young lady, is it possible that you are afraid of monsters? The strange man says in a gentle tone. It is a monster after all. Flora hides behind Armin, nodding tremblingly. Yes, that is right. The man shows an understanding expression. It is normal for ordinary people to be afraid of monsters. The white creature trembles at his feet. He continues, I have a younger sister much younger than me. If a drop of monster blood got on me when I came home, she would cry hysterically in fear. A gentle smile appears on his face. Besides, this is also the young master's first time. The strange man continues explaining. The young lady seeing a monster up close for the first time. Being scared is natural. Armin immediately agrees. Right, that is it. Robert's eyes turn sharp. I understand. He points strongly toward the white creature. So as not to scare Flora anymore. I will help you dispose of it. The white creature screams in terror, its body beginning to tremble violently. It immediately collapses onto the ground, turning into a puddle of green liquid, letting out a weak moan. Flora's face full of fear. Do not look at me with those eyes. He takes a step back. Wait. Robert pulls her into his arms with one hand. Flora tightly clutches his clothes. Can we send it back to where it belonged? Robert's cheeks turn red. What a good-hearted child. Robert tightly hugs Flora. As long as it is Flora's request, I will naturally do it. Flora shows a bright smile. Thank you, Brother Robert. Later I found out that cotton candy-like monster is a herbivore. Its food is tree bark. The white creature lets out a sigh. Clearly, it is one of the few monsters that do not harm humans. So rare that some nobles even keep it as a pet. It is so obedient, yet I was scared of it just because of its appearance. How embarrassing. Also sorry for turning it into a gift for my family. Flora squats down, carefully stroking the white creature. Armin and Robert beside her gently watch her. As for the rabbit brother Robert brought back, we decided to raise it in my bedroom first. Wait for it to recover before deciding further. Flora collapses on the table asleep. Beside her is the white rabbit wrapped in bandages over its wound. What should I name it? The name Laura that Brother Robert gave it is not bad. The white rabbit sits quietly on the chair, seemingly deep in thought. Flora leans close. The white rabbit gently rubs its head against her cheek. Does that mean you like this name? Do you understand what I am saying? Flora gently strokes the white rabbit's head. Then, let us get along well from now on. She gently says, Good night, Laura. The white rabbit huddles beside the pillow, peacefully falling asleep. Flora stands on tiptoe, stealthily observing the white rabbit on the bed. The white rabbit lies there tiredly, eyes tightly closed. It suddenly opens its eyes wide, sitting up abruptly. I am out of options. Possessing Flora's rabbit Laura. Its real name is Iwin. Iwin comes from the slums, discovered by an old man to have magical talent. After being adopted, he always lived in the magic tower. The real identity of that old man is the master of the magic tower. In order to make Iwin's talent blossom, the tower master strictly trained him day and night. Iwin spreads his hands, eyes burning with anger. I cannot stand it anymore. Iwin grinds his teeth. How much longer will these days last? Did you not say my ability was enough? Let me go. Iwin exhaustedly protests to the tower master. The tower master replies expressionlessly. No. If you have time to complain, you had better go practice. The tower master coldly glances at him, as if looking at a noisy bug, giving orders without emotion, rejecting all requests. Iwin screams in despair. At this rate, I will die before I even learn magic. The tower master looks at him coldly. Rest assured, humans do not die so easily. Angered by the tower master's stubbornness, Iwin slips up, drop dead. He screams angrily. I would rather be a rabbit than live like this. The tower master shows a strange smile. Oh, that is a good idea. Iwin panics, losing composure. What are you saying? He staggers back. What? What is happening? The room door slams shut, locking him inside. The Tower Master's voice comes through the door crack. Being a rabbit once is good for you. Wait until you return, then tell me which life is better. Iwin's pupils contract. Since when did he? Wait, what did he just say? Iwin's face contorts in fear. What? The Tower Master crosses his arms. Expression icy. I have sealed your magic, leaving only a tiny bit. I will wait. Wait for you to use your own strength to break the seal. The day you return to this magic tower, Iwin transforms into a white rabbit. He screams in fear. Ah, my voice. The Tower Master's voice echoes in his head. Do not make me wait too long. Turning into a rabbit, Iwin squeaks furiously. That damn old man. He discovers he is in a snowy region. Where is this? I was just in the magic tower a moment ago. Why am I running? He realizes he is falling from a high place. This is also a neat trick done by that old man. What on earth did I do wrong? The Tower Master points to a room covered in cobwebs. Clean up this research room thoroughly. Iwin holds a book, drooping his head gloomily. Yes. Since being brought here by that old man a few months ago, I have had to do all kinds of errands. Cleaning up, preparing 3 meals a day for the mages. Iwin carries piping hot food, walking hastily down the hallway. I am back. He even has to handle used tissues, using a handkerchief to cover his nose and mouth, his face full of disgust. In the end, I still have to do all kinds of errands. Is this my reward? Turning into a rabbit, Iwin crosses his arms, sitting angrily on a chair. To think I would be brought to the Paisi Duchy, a mage of the magic tower marrying into this place. The more he thinks, the angrier he gets, a flame of rage burning in his red eyes. That damn old man. Just wait until I get back. Iwin on the chair kicks his feet furiously. Damn it, when on earth will this magic seal be undone? He collapses exhaustedly. What on earth should I do? A knight reports to Duke Paisi. Duke, regarding the young lady's debutante ball. We hope you can decide on the date soon. Duke Paisi bows his head to sign a document. I want to as well, but I am still a little worried. Duke Paisi clasps his hands, his expression troubled. Flora has never left the duchy since birth. If we hold such a grand debutante ball, what if my weak and sickly child gets hurt or ill? The knight looks puzzled. The young lady is about to turn 7. Is it not time for her to have friends? Duke Paisi looks displeased. But my other children lived just fine without friends. The knight is speechless. Is that so? The Duchess gently advises her husband. Darling is right, but we cannot keep Flora inside the duchy forever. When she grows up she will still need a debutante ball. Debutante ball. The Duchess smiles. That is right. 10 years later when Flora turns 16 she will need a debutante ball. Duke Paisi ponders. 10 years. Looks like her debutante ball should still be postponed to next year. He finally makes a decision. Flora's debutante ball will be held 1 year from now. Flora's cheeks blush red. She clasps her hands tightly to her chest. Will there really be a birthday party? That is wonderful. Can I go outside too? The Duchess bends down, gently stroking Flora's head. That is right. It is time for you to make friends. Experience the outside world. Your brothers and sister have had them since they were little. It was only because your body was weak that it was repeatedly postponed. Flora leans embarrassedly into the Duchess's embrace, while the Duchess smiles looking at her husband. Duke Paisi rubs his chin. I have always been a man of my word, but in the end I was still persuaded by my wife. Flora is indeed at the right age. Flora jumps excitedly. Awesome. I am looking forward to it so much. Early in the morning on the day of the banquet, Flora stretches on her bed, letting out a long yawn. Her bare feet touch the floor, putting on a pair of cute pink fluffy slippers. Flora pushes open the balcony door, draping a blanket over herself against the cold wind. She looks down at the fountain in the garden. The weather is still a bit cold. I really hope it warms up soon. Flora's body shivers slightly. She notices the fountain spraying water. Oh, there is water in the fountain. Flora feels puzzled. I remember it freezes in winter so everything stops. A voice comes up from the garden. Off Flora. Robert is walking toward her. waving his hand with a bright smile. Good morning. Flora cries out in surprise. Brother Robert, what are you doing down there? Robert turns and runs. Wait for me there. I am coming right over. He jumps down from the balcony, landing firmly on the snow. Robert spreads his arms wide. Hiseo. Flora looks dazed. Wow. Robert smiles proudly. How is it? Is the fountain pretty? This is a gift I specially prepared for you. Flora's face is full of amazement. Brother, did you do this? Using magic? Robert replies nonchalantly. That is right. This is not difficult. Flora bows her head touched. Thank you. It is truly beautiful. A maid appears at the balcony door. Young lady, so you are here. It is almost time to get ready. Flora feels a bit disappointed. So soon to get ready already. Robert waves his hand. Then I will go first, Flora. Flora smiles back. See you later. The maid gently combs Flora's silver hair. Young lady, this is your first party. How does it feel? Flora sits before the dressing table, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I am super excited. Mother said now I can make friends. And even go outside to play. The maid smiles gently. That is wonderful. By the way, starting today for 1 week, the entire empire will hold a festival. Did you know? Flora's eyes shine even brighter. Come to think of it, my birthday is also a day worth celebrating. Right. The maid continues. I think today many guests will also come to join the festival. Flora claps her hands excitedly. Wow. Flora looks at herself in the mirror. Should I ask father if I can go? The maid's voice cuts off her thoughts. First let us smoothly get through your birthday party. Flora twirls in front of the mirror, her dress flaring out like petals. Wow. Iwin's ears twitch. I thought she was just a child. But dressed up she looks the part. The maid smiles. Young lady, looks like Laura also finds you very cute. It keeps staring at you. Flora asks overjoyed. Really? She bends down. Laura, do you want to come with me? Iwin shakes his head violently. I am not going. I am not going. Flora's face instantly sours. You do not want to go. The white rabbit's whole body resists, its ears drooping. The maid looks with great interest. Are rabbits animals that understand human language? It is as if it is talking to you, young lady. See, I felt it long ago. Could it be? Iwin's face is full of reluctance. I am doomed. Flora's inner world explodes in an instant. Is Laura perhaps a genius? Flora tightly hugs the white rabbit, her cheek rubbing against its soft fur. Thank goodness. They did not find out. Flora runs to the window, pointing down at the line of luxurious carriages below. Melanie, look quickly. Is that long line all guests? The maid smiles in affirmation. Of course, young lady. After all, this is your birthday party. These people all came to congratulate you on your birthday. Flora raises her head, light flashing in her eyes. Standing at the door is Carloman, dressed in fancy formal attire. Carloman smiles and reaches out his hand. Flora, are you ready? Flora's cheeks blush red. Wow, brother Carloman, you are so handsome. Even though you are my brother, you are too handsome. Another voice comes from behind Carloman. Hey, I originally wanted to escort her. Ehrman replies indifferently. That is because you dawdled. Robert, you go escort Ehrman. Ehrman closes his eyes, a tired expression. No need, I do not need an escort. I am fine alone. You had better manage yourself so you do not get lost. Flora spreads both arms wide, offering a perfect solution. Then brother Carloman, hold my left hand. Brother Robert, hold my right hand. The two boys are smitten at the same time. Flora. The crystal chandeliers glow brilliantly. The majestic arched stone pillars stand firm. The grand banquet hall is luxurious to the extreme. The MC's solemn voice sounds. Now entering the grand hall is today's main character, Miss Flora, along with the crown prince. Flora is held by her two brothers' hands, stepping into the golden grand hall, her eyes full of wonder and amazement. Ehrman in the crowd claps. A bright smile. Wow. Flora's red eyes sparkle. Wow. A noble steps forward to present a gift. This is a small gesture from us. A bracelet enchanted with protection by the magic tower master himself. Another noble follows suit. This is a red diamond necklace. A perfect match for the young lady's eye color. Flora looks at the pile of gifts stacked high as a mountain. Feeling a bit flustered, the MC's voice sounds again. His Majesty the Emperor and His Highness the Crown Prince have arrived. Flora pauses slightly, her face full of confusion. The MC's voice sounds again. His Majesty the Emperor has arrived. In addition, the Crown Prince carries a giant gift box with both hands. Slowly walking over, His Highness the Crown Prince. Flora raises her head, her voice clear and respectful. Your Majesty, Your Highness, meeting you for the first time is my honor. The Emperor's voice is gentle. Very nice to meet you. Flora. The Emperor shifts the topic. Frankly speaking, I have sent so many letters, inviting you to come play at the Imperial Palace. The Duke steps in front of Flora. Did I not say it already? My youngest daughter is of weak constitution. Besides, do you not just want to set her up with the Crown Prince? The Emperor chuckles lightly. You saw right through me. Even so, you did not come even once. That is too cold. The Emperor's gaze falls on the Crown Prince. All right, give her the gift. The Crown Prince responds softly. Yes. The Crown Prince holds the gift box out in front of Flora. Miss Flora, happy birthday. This is my gift to you. His personality is completely different from his royal father. Is it because he became Crown Prince at a young age that he matured too quickly? Lily seemed to have said before. The Crown Prince's personality used to be much brighter. But along with growing up, his smile disappeared. Perhaps he is too focused on air lessons. Flora holds the gift box. He does not look much older than me. How tough. The Crown Prince silently looks at her. Expressionless. The Crown Prince's figure glows slightly. Flora lets out a light cough. Her body leaning back, her eyes opening dazed. Before her appears a semi-transparent blue status window. Status: Louis Carcasson. Ability: A. Assets S. Appearance: A. Health B. Love: A. Self-esteem C. Sociability D. What is this? A status window. Evaluation. Although his ability stat is very high, he lacks self-confidence, not knowing how to interact with others. He suppresses his desire to play, focusing only on raising his own abilities. Is this not the thing I saw in the outer world? Flora's pupils dilate slightly. Even so, this ability stat is too high, as expected of the Crown Prince. Except for the last two items, his stats are all on the high side. Self-esteem is C. Sociability is D. No wonder he was so awkward when giving the gift. Wait, at 9 years old having S-rank assets and a rank ability. Plus A+ appearance. This is way too much of a cheat. If it were me, my self-esteem would have exploded long ago. But then again, why did I suddenly see these things? Flora rubs her eyes, her body swaying for a moment. A gentle voice comes. Flora, do you feel unwell anywhere? Flora raises her head, seeing the Duke's worried face. She hastily steadies herself. I am fine. The Emperor's voice sounds again. Flora, what is your first impression of my son? The direction of the conversation has turned weird. Since it has come to this, Flora stands on tiptoe, reaching out her hand to touch Louis's shoulder. Your Highness, excuse me. She carefully picks off a golden thread. Look, there is a thread on you. The Duchess clasps her hands together. As expected of Flora, paying attention to even such fine details. The Duke joins in. That is right. Flora is very meticulous. The Emperor laughs heartily. Ha ha. Looks like the reliable Louis also makes mistakes occasionally. Flora sighs in relief. Good. Now I just need to keep my distance from the Crown Prince. Louis's cheeks flush with a red streak, his body trembling slightly. Flora holds the thread, her face full of confusion. What is wrong with him? Could it be, did I make him embarrassed? Flora looks at him. Because of his low self-esteem, he feels like I made him lose face. I seem to have done a bad thing. Airman places his hand on Flora's forehead. Flora, are you really all right, although you do not have a fever? Melanie's voice sounds in her ear. I heard the Crown Prince has been able to freely control ice magic since he was small. So he is very much supported by the southern people. Flora's cheeks turn bright red. That is right, ice magic. Using that, maybe it can save the Crown Prince's face. She feels a wave of heat. Suddenly it is so hot. Flora winks at Louis. I really want something cool. Sorry to trouble you, Crown Prince. Please catch my drift. Louis's pupils contract slightly. Oh, this is the Crown Prince's ice magic. The surrounding air freezes in an instant. Countless ice crystals falling from the sky, glowing with 7 colors under the sunlight. Flora's eyes widen in amazement. Wow. She holds out both hands, catching a pure snowflake. I have never seen such beautiful snowflakes. The Emperor's voice is full of admiration. I heard long ago that His Highness is proficient in ice magic. As expected, his reputation is well deserved. What magnificent magic. A noblewoman whispers softly, I am looking forward to how powerful he will be after growing up. Flora inwardly calculates. The reaction of everyone around is considered perfect. She turns to Louis, placing both hands together over her chest, bowing slightly. Thanks to you, I did not pass out from the heat. This is truly magic that is both cool and wonderful. Louis stares at Flora, using a thread to embarrass me, and now praising my magic. He completely cannot understand. What on earth is her goal? Flora shows a confident smile. Looks like it is time to move on to the next stage. She turns around to face everyone. That is right. When does the banquet end? I want to go outside to play. Robert immediately chimes in. Then let us go play together. Flora sends an invitation to the Emperor. Your Majesty, would you like to join us? The Emperor places his hand on Louis's shoulder. Ho ho, you kids are close in age. It just so happens you can get along. The Emperor smiles and instructs. Have fun playing. Pay attention to safety. Make sure to stay beside Flora. Protect her well. Louis murmurs softly. I am not so sure. The Emperor's voice turns strict. Stop complaining. Carloman instructs. If you feel cold, come back immediately. Carloman looks gently at Flora. The ground might freeze. It is very slippery. Let me carry you to the garden. Flora replies sweetly. Thank you, Brother Carloman. Carloman pushes open the large door leading to the garden. In the garden, a soaring flame rises into the sky. Carloman holding Flora, Robert standing to one side. All three staring dazed, looking at the sea of fire before them. Robert stammers an explanation. Brother, big brother, we just wanted to melt the ice. Because frozen ground is too dangerous. Ehrman immediately points at Robert. It was not me. Robert did it. Robert announces loudly. Wait, I will put it out right away. Carloman holding Flora, supporting his forehead with a hand. Letting out a sigh. What kind of situation is this? Clearly they used magic themselves to create fire. Yet they panic like this. Are they really children of that infamous Pacy Duke family? I heard they are very good at manipulating magic. But look at their panicked expressions. Louis extends his hand, cold frost gathering in his palm. The remaining fire on the ground is extinguished in an instant. Robert looks at the extinguished fire, spreading his arms wide, his face full of pride. He sticks out his tongue. Just joking around. He. Ehrman immediately scolds. Robert, mind the situation. You scared the Crown Prince. Robert says nonchalantly. My goodness. It was just a joke. You are being too serious. Louis cannot believe it. A joke. Laughing, he looks over at Flora, his eyebrows furrowing deeply. I heard these twins are even older than me. Yet they put on this useless prank play. Flora leans into Carloman's arms, staring blankly at the brothers. Her eyes filled with fed-up exhaustion. Louis feels bewildered. What on earth? What is with that expression, as if she has endured more than enough? Could it be that in the Duke's mansion? This is a daily occurrence. In the garden, Armin and Robert are playing in the snow. Wow, the snow is so big. Armin and Robert cheer. Me too. I want to play too. Flora, when playing you must be careful. Okay. Flora responds excitedly. Your Highness, come here quickly. The snow is cold and soft. She shows a bright smile, reaching out her hand to invite Louis. Louis looks at her bright face, a little confusion arising in his heart. Clearly a moment ago she showed an annoyed face. Truly a strange girl. But he still remembers his royal father's instructions. Father instructed me to stay beside and protect her. Louis and Flora stand in the snow. Carloman stands to one side watching. The twin brothers together roll a giant snowball. Flora sleeps soundly on the bed, her breathing steady. Iwin curls up beside her. Carloman stands by the bed, quietly gazing at her. This is the first time Flora met so many people. She must be exhausted. Carloman speaks softly to Robert standing beside him. That is right. Let us go outside. Do not disturb her. Robert nods in agreement. The two turn around, quietly leaving the room. Footsteps sound faintly on the floor. Flora in her dream, her lips moving slightly, letting out vague murmurs. Flora suddenly startles awake. Where am I? She stands barefoot on the cold floor, looking around in confusion. I was clearly sleeping on the bed. Why am I here? Furthermore, this scene, I feel like I have seen it somewhere before. A warm voice sounds. Long time no see. Flora's pupils contract. Suddenly looking up, a man is standing before her. Is it you? The man smiles. Is your new life enjoyable? Your special benefit. By now it should have been activated. Right. Flora raises her head to look at him. Do you mean that thing that can see other people's status? The man nods with satisfaction. As expected. You noticed right away. The man explains. Because there was no time to explain before. I specially borrowed this dream space to meet you. He continues. This ability to see other people's status is usually called a status window. I thought this was the best compensation for your previous life that was never loved. Considering your previous life's stats, I set your favorability stat higher than average. But this stat only guarantees you are loved by your family and those around you. Therefore, to make it easy for you to receive affection from people you just met, even opponents, I designed this status window. Having this status window that clearly sees the opponent's stats, you can grasp their situation, thereby executing appropriate communication. Of course, you can also use it to further raise the favorability of those around you. Please make good use of it. Flora ponders. When interacting with others, this thing is indeed very useful. The man smiles. Is that not so? The man continues to explain. In the status window that you see, Lady Flora, ability, assets, appearance, health, and love. These are all fixed stats that do not change. Flora raises her eyes. Then that means, other items can fluctuate. The man praises. That is right. You have experienced it already. Right. Lewis's status window appears before her eyes. In the status window I saw, there were also self-esteem and sociability. Below there was also a line of notes called evaluation. The man confirms her memory. Those are precisely the variable stats. They will prioritize displaying items with the highest probability to gain the opponent's affection. He raises a finger. As long as you consult these stats and act, raising the corresponding stat, the opponent will naturally hold affection for you. If you can be loved by people outside the family like that, do you not think life will be much more interesting? Flora brings up a question. Then why did this benefit activate for the first time right on my 7th birthday? This must also have some special meaning. Right. The smile on the man's face freezes. Well, the thing is, Flora's gaze turns sharp. This expression, I have seen it once before. It is the exact same expression when he said he forgot, while setting my favorability stats. Completely identical. The man forces a smile. My set stats had a small problem. Flora's gaze turns cold. I have a bad feeling. The man clasps his hands together, trying to explain. That is, an oversight by our divine realm. As expected, Flora crosses her arms. Really, you are not hiding anything from me. Right. Can the divine realm really make so many mistakes? The man frantically waves his hands. You see, when you were a child, the people you interacted with were mainly family. Right. Even with a status window it would be useless. So, waiting until you grew a bit older, starting to interact with others, I thought activating it at that time would be a much better pleasant surprise. Flora's suspicion still does not decrease at all. My stats. There are no other errors. Right. The man immediately stands straight up. Of course. Please rest assured, I will absolutely not repeat a similar mistake. He bows his head, flipping through the records in his hand. On his face a business smile. Also, the man raises a finger. his tone serious. Sometimes people will also appear whose status window you cannot see. I advise you right from the start to stay far away from them, because they are very dangerous. Flora asks confusedly, why would I not see their status? The man explains, the power of the divine realm has no effect on that person. Meaning that person possesses power large enough to repel the forces of the divine realm. If you can turn them into an ally, that would be a reliable existence more than anyone. But people who possess this power are all extremely peculiar. They could betray you at any time, pushing Lady Flora into danger. Although not common, please be extremely careful. Flora's body begins to become translucent, the surrounding scenery also fading accordingly. The man bids her farewell. Then my explanation ends here. Good luck to you. The dream dissolves, the world turning into a realm of pure white light. Sunlight streaming through the window crack shines in, dazzling Flora's eyes. She lets out a light throat noise, her body falling backward onto the floor. It hurts. Flora rubs her sleep-heavy eyes. A plush rabbit lies beside her pillow. She snatches it up. You kicked me again, right? Guts to kick even your master. Truly a bad child. Flora hugs Iwin into her chest. Hey, Laura, I just received a mysterious power. I can see other people's status now. I also want to try to see if I can see your status. Iwin startles, breaking free from her hands. Flora looks at it in shock. Laura, wait. Iwin lands softly beside the bed. Flora reaches out her hands to catch. Caught you. She tightly hugs the plush rabbit, a smug smile appearing on her face. Really, what is wrong with you? Iwin in her arms trembling continuously, as if protesting. Flora lies on the bed, looking at Iwin hiding under the bed. Could it be that hiding means I cannot see? She leans down. All right, even if you hide, I still want to look. Flora stares at Iwin. Status window. A moment of silence. Nothing happens. She tries again. Once more. Status. The room door gently pushes open. The maid's voice coming in. Good morning, young lady. Are you up already? The maid sees Flora's posture. Oh my, are you playing with Laura? Then I will wait for Laura to come out. Flora raises her head. Ah, perhaps because Laura is an animal. That is why it cannot be seen. Then I will try with Melanie and see. She looks toward the maid, a spark of decisiveness flashing in her eyes. Status. Melanie's status window immediately appears. Ability B, assets D+. Appearance C+. Health A+. Love A+. Evaluation. Hardworking and diligent. Loved since childhood. Also used to giving love. Innately extremely high health. Suitable for maid work. Tireless. The corners of Flora's mouth turn up slightly. But besides the fixed stats, I cannot see anything else. He said before family and close ones would love me unconditionally. So this means, I do not need to try to win her affection. Melanie will always love me, even if I do nothing at all. Flora calls softly, Melanie. The maid responds gently, yes. Flora spreads both arms wide. I love you. Will you always stay by my side? Melanie responds with a warm embrace. A satisfied smile. Of course. Young lady. Flora's cheek is pinched by a large hand, pulled to both sides. She puffs her cheeks dissatisfiedly. Robert bends down, looking at her contorted face, bursting out laughing joyfully. Flora, you are way too adorable. By the window, Armin pokes his head in, his face showing a bit of shock. Armin hits Robert on the head once. Hey, do you not see Flora does not like it? Crumpling together, Robert clutches his head, crying tears complaining, that hurts so much. Armin turns to support Flora, gently rubbing her head. Flora, are you all right? The Duke looks at this scene, a smile forming at the corners of his mouth. All right, everyone sit down. Robert reluctantly sits down. Fine then. The Duke raises his wine glass, pondering, come to think of it, today is the blessing day. The festival must be very lively. Flora's eyes light up. A festival. That sounds so interesting. She looks at the Duke full of expectation. Father. Flora also wants to go to the festival. The Duke takes a sip of wine. Of course. I also want to go. He sets down the wine glass. But Flora. The Duke looks at her, worry clearly showing in his eyes. The Duke firmly refuses. Flora cannot go. You just had a nosebleed a few days ago. Flora's cheeks flush slightly red. That was during mock battle play. The Duke continues. Furthermore, if Flora goes to the festival, what if she bumps into someone? Or gets kidnapped by bad people? His gaze turns dark. Father does not even know what he might do. Flora's body stiffens. Such a scary expression. She raises her head, her eyes carrying a bit of fear. Then how big must I be to be able to go to the festival? Flora sighs. The festival looks so interesting. If a handsome knight like father comes along, surely there will be no danger. The Duke looks conflicted. For my daughter's safety, must endure, must endure. Flora holds a red apple with both hands, her eyes earnestly looking at him. Please, father, I beg you. Inside the Duke's heart a fierce struggle takes place. I cannot. I must be strict. Damn it, my daughter is too adorable. He ponders, falling into a dilemma. The Duke has been defeated. Flora wants to go with father. This sentence, like an arrow, struck right into his mind. His face blushes red, his eyes softening in an instant. Oh, you want to go with father? He uses a finger to point at himself. A radiant smile. That is right. If you are always with father, surely there will be no problem. Armin and Robert look at each other, their faces full of shock. Flora looks dazed. What did I just say? Because I wanted to go to the festival so much, to the point of blurting it out. Now even I myself do not remember clearly anymore. The Duke smiles. Flora is also at the age where she should go outside to broaden her horizons. Flora opens her eyes wide. Really, really, father. She bows her head. Whatever. As long as I can go, it is fine. Afterward, she bites a huge mouthful of apple. A crisp sound ringing out. The carriage wheels slowly roll, leaving tracks on the snow-covered road. Inside the lavish carriage, Flora and the Duke sit opposite each other, the atmosphere a bit strange. Flora opens her eyes wide, surprised. Are we departing today already? The Duke leans back, a gentle smile hanging on his face. Flora looks up at him. Father looks very happy, remembering the past 7 years since I was born. I seem to have never asked father to take me out to play. She raises her head, asking curiously, Father, have you been to the festival before? The Duke smiles confidently. Of course. Your mother and I went many times. The carriage enters the festival street. Flags and flowers fluttering, people coming and going bustlingly. Flora lets out an amazed sound. Wow. The carriage slowly stops, the scenery outside the window making her unable to take her eyes away. Flora presses both hands against the glass window, her small face glued tight to the glass surface, her mouth opening into an O shape. So awesome. The Duke carries Flora stepping down from the carriage. He softly announces, Flora, we have arrived. Flora lets out a cheer. The Duke carries her, passing through the noisy crowd. Wow, so many people. Letting go of hands and one would get lost right away. Among the crowd, rustling whispers ring out. Is that not the young princess of the Duke's house? Shush. Keep it down. She will hear you. The Duke turns his face away, his cold gaze sweeping across the crowd, the space in an instant sinking into silence, as if harsh winter swept over. Flora's body stiffens. She tightly hugs father's neck, hiding her face in his chest. The Duke gently rubs her back, soothing tenderly, no need to be scared. Flora raises her head, red eyes hesitating in fear. She can clearly hear the whispers around. The Pacey family's reputation turns out to be that bad. Precisely because of this, everyone automatically stepped to both sides, clearing the way. The Duke carries Flora, strolling leisurely without any hindrance. Everyone around dodged one by one, their faces filled with fear and wariness, as if dodging a plague. The Duke looks gently at Flora. Flora, after admiring the snowflake festival, let us go eat the cake you like. Flora responds excitedly. Yes, right. What is the snowflake festival, father? The Duke smiles. I think Flora probably has never seen it. Because the north has a lot of snow. So there is a festival making use of snow like this. A red-haired man approaches them, enthusiastically introducing. This festival displays many snow sculptures. The young lady will definitely like it for sure. Flora pokes her head out from behind father's back. Snow sculptures. The Duke carries Flora, bowing his head, asking softly. This year's works are much grander than last year. What do you think? Flora. Flora's red eyes round up, her mouth opening slightly. Striking her eyes is a giant snow reindeer statue. Wow. Snow statues towering high, spirits and unicorns, lifelike. Flora looks up at the giant snow statue, her voice filled with surprise. These things, are they all made of snow, Father? The Duke smiles proudly. How is it? The Northern Festival is very impressive, right? Every year here there are exhibitions of snow sculptures like this. Flora points toward a magnificent snow castle in the distance. Is that a castle made of snow, Father? The Duke looks down at her, eyes gentle. Do you want to have it? Flora looks dazed. Huh. The Duke rests a hand on his chin, falling into thought. If we want to transport that back then. Flora opens her eyes wide in panic, waving her hands frantically. No need, Father. Such a beautiful work. It should be left for many people to admire together better. The corner of the Duke's mouth turns up into a smile. Is that so? Then let us go eat cake. They step into a cafe. The door chime ringing ding-dang. The staff warmly greets. Welcome, Lord Duke. The staff introduces proudly. Our cakes all use magic to transport from all over the empire, using all the most premium ingredients, surely suited for the young lady's taste. Flora leans against the glass cabinet, eyes shining brightly. Wow. On the table a spread of various pastries, strawberry tarts, cupcakes, cream cookies, also a delicate strawberry cake. The Duke looks at Flora's satisfied expression, asking gently, is it that delicious? It got all over your face already. Flora uses a handkerchief to wipe her mouth, playfully winking. Let us buy some to bring back for mother and brothers. Outside the door a commotion spreads. A group of people steps in, looking like Airman's friends. Airman's friends. Airman actually has friends. The Duke's face shows an awkward trace. Ah, this matter. The Duke explains. That is a girl who gives Airman quite a headache. I recall she is the young lady of the Bakes family. The red-haired man adds. That is right. She is the second young lady of Count Bakes's family. Princess Airman was the Duke's only daughter before Princess Flora was born. So His Majesty the Emperor once took a strong interest in her, regarding her as a candidate for the crown princess. But I heard that due to a conflict with the young lady of the Bakes family, the royal family cancelled the engagement. Flora asked curiously what on earth happened in that conflict. The red-haired man showing a troubled look. About that. She used magic to make the young lady of the Bakes family spin around and fly into the air. Flora was speechlessly astonished. My goodness. Then they must have completely cut ties with each other. The red-haired man helplessly closed his eyes. That is right. As expected of Sister Airman. The service staff handed over the packed cake. Here is the cake you wanted to take home. Flora received the pink gift box with both hands, sweetly thanking him. Thank you. Flora stepped out of the shop door, turning her head to say to her father, the cake is really delicious. The Duke replied with a smile. Then that is wonderful. Let us come again next time. The service staff behind the checkout counter were endlessly moved. The daughter of Duke Pacey said my cake was delicious. Flora held the pink gift box, her heart full of anticipation, hoping Sister Airman and Brother Robert would also like it. The Duke sat in the carriage looking gently at her. Flora, was it fun today with just the two of us playing together? Starlight sparkled in the Duke's eyes, the corners of his mouth uncontrollably curling up. Flora looked at him. What was with that look full of anticipation? If I say playing with my brothers was more fun, he will probably be very disappointed. Flora forced a radiant smile. Yes, being with father is very fun. She closed her eyes, her cheeks slightly pink. Monopolizing the love of family is actually very tiring too. The carriage slowly rolled down the grand street toward the Duke's mansion. The street band playing a cheerful tune. The conductor waving his baton. The atmosphere extremely lively. Flora pressed close to the carriage window, excitedly pointing outside. Wow, father, look quickly. This year's parade is much grander than usual. Before I could only admire the scenery from inside the mansion. But stepping out of the mansion to join the festival like this is truly wonderful. Spring finally arrived, warmth spreading all the way to the frozen northern border. Ehrman and Robert were about to enroll at the Magic Academy, which was a boarding school. During the semester they were required to leave the Pacey estate. Ehrman and Robert tightly hugged Flora, crying and wailing, not wanting to leave. "We do not want to. I do not want to leave, Flora." Flora was squished in the middle, her face filled with a happy smile. So good, finally sending these two away. The Duchess looked gently at them. "Ehrman, Robert, you two must get along well at the academy." Robert had teary eyes. "Without seeing Flora I will probably be very lonely. When we return in the summer we must play with Flora to our heart's content." Ehrman tightly hugged Flora. "If you feel lonely, just tell me. I will use spatial magic to fly back immediately." The Duchess smiled and turned around. "All right, we must return to the mansion. Today an important guest is waiting." Robert covered his mouth in surprise. Could it be grandfather? Flora's eyes instantly brightened. "Grandfather." The Duchess held back a smile. "That is right." Ehrman immediately got excited. "I also want to meet grandfather. Just to say hello. Is that not allowed?" The Duchess helplessly reminded. "What are you two saying? The entrance ceremony is about to start." Both startled. "All right." Robert and Ehrman ran toward the academy gates. They turned their heads waving goodbye. "Flora, before the summer break you must definitely take care of your health." The Duchess gently rubbed Flora's head. Flora also waved back in response, a playful smile hanging on her face. Finally free. The sky was clear blue. Cherry blossoms in full bloom, signaling a brand new beginning. In front of the Magic Tower Master's mansion, a maid bowed in greeting. "I am very sorry." Currently a white-haired old man interrupted her. "No need to worry. She went to see off Robert and Ehrman." "Right." The maid breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you for your forgiveness. Please allow me to lead you to the drawing room." She extended her hand to lead the way. The old man gave a hum. "Lead the way." The old man walked while casually asking, "Right, I heard Ehrman and Robert broke another wall." He chuckled softly. "Haha, they really look just like Adonis in his youth." The Duchess held Flora's hand, a flash of astonishment in her eyes. "My goodness, the Magic Tower Master." Flora raised her head to look at her mother. "The Magic Tower Master." The Magic Tower Master sat on a luxurious armchair, his gaze resting on Flora. "Oh, you are the youngest daughter of the Pacey family. You have grown this big already." Flora curtsied slightly in greeting. "Hello, I am Flora." The Magic Tower Master smiled. "Since Flora was born we have not met again, have we? Are Ehrman and Robert doing well?" The Duchess replied. "I have heard as well. Those two children's bad reputation has spread throughout the empire. Come to think of it, where did Laura go? Laura is nowhere to be found." The Duchess looked toward Flora. "Flora, what is wrong with you?" Flora answered in a low voice. I have not seen Laura for a while." The maid beside the Magic Tower Master heard this and said, "Laura, let me go look for it." Iwin hid in a dark corner, his gaze displeased. "Why is that old man here? If he wants to turn me back into a human he can keep dreaming." Flora anxiously grabbed the maid's skirt. "Where is Laura? I looked everywhere and could not find it." The maid smiled to comfort her. "The knights are helping search. There will be news soon. It is very smart. In a bit it might return on its own." Flora turned her head to look around. "Right, where did Magic Tower Grandfather go?" The maid turned around pointing toward the entrance door. "He just left. He said if that rabbit gets hungry it will naturally come back on its own. No need to worry." Flora had a shocked expression. How did he know Laura was a rabbit? Did Melanie tell him? The maid noticed her gaze and turned her head in confusion. "Young lady, what did you say?" "No, I did not say anything." Flora and the maid stared at each other, the atmosphere freezing for a moment. Suddenly, a white rabbit poked its head out from behind the door. Flora gasped in surprise. "Laura." Flora hugged the white rabbit tightly to her chest. "My goodness, where did you run off to? I was worried to death." The maid breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness it was found. She turned around walking toward the table. "Right. On the table there is an exquisite gift box." The maid handed the gift box to Flora. "This is a gift from His Highness the Crown Prince for Lady Flora." Flora was a bit confused. Why would His Highness the Crown Prince suddenly give me a gift? The maid suggested with a smile. Young lady, open it and you will know. I will go prepare snacks. Flora accepted the gift box. Yes, thank you, Sister Melanie. Flora held the rabbit and sat down. Why did he suddenly give me a gift? Well, since he gave it, I will just happily accept it. Let us see. She gently opened the gift box. Inside the box quietly lay a necklace. A necklace. Just chant the incantation to activate. My ice magic will appear. However, it can only be used 5 times. Flora picked up the attached letter. On it was the Crown Prince's handwriting. This is not an ordinary necklace, but a magic item infused with my mana. She bowed her head looking at the necklace. Her eyes filled with complexity. Flora hugged the white rabbit. Laura, wait a moment. She put the necklace around her neck, standing in front of the mirror. The white rabbit standing beside, looking at her with an displeased expression. Flora faced herself in the mirror. Wow, really pretty. She noticed the white rabbit on the ground trembling. Oh Laura, what is wrong with you? Do you feel unwell somewhere? Flora immediately grew tense. Oh no, I will take you to the infirmary right away. Flora picked up the trembling rabbit, trying to comfort it. But the rabbit's body suddenly expanded. Flora looked in shock at the creature in her arms. What is this? The white rabbit in her hands grew larger and larger, making it impossible for her to hold. Losing her balance, Flora tumbled backward, taking a painful fall onto the floor. Painfully opening her eyes, her vision blurred. Laura. Ewan looked down at Flora lying on the floor, his hands clutching his collar. His expression extremely annoyed. Damn it, why right at this moment? Flora looked up at him, asking tremblingly, Are you Laura? Ewan spoke slowly. You could say that, but that is not entirely correct. My name is not Laura. It is Ewan. Flora's pupils contracted, her lips slightly parting. But. Flora lay on the floor staring at the man in front of her. Why is your hair black? Laura is white. Ewan rested his hands on his hips, grumpily asking back, what about black hair? Flora was full of confusion. Are you a beastkin? Ewan leaned his face close to her, crossly denying, no, I am a normal human. And a mage at that. Flora still did not understand. But clearly you turned into a rabbit. Ewan turned his face away, arms crossed over his chest. There is a reason for that. Flora pressed on. Then why did you turn back into a human now? Ewan's gaze turned sharp, his eyes resting on Flora's chest. I did not willingly turn back. I was forced. I think it is because of that necklace. Flora bowed her head looking at the necklace. This necklace. But this is a gift from His Highness the Crown Prince. Ewan's expression turned serious. That Crown Prince seems to possess extremely powerful mana. Ewan explained. Before you took it out of the box I felt a strange aura. Suddenly turning back into a human gave me a startle too. Flora pondered. So the Crown Prince's mana in the necklace forced you to turn back? Ewan nodded in confirmation. Probably so. Flora's brain went blank. What? Ewan's figure in her eyes became hazy, leaving only a mystical purple light. Ewan's body was enveloped by purple light, turning back into the white rabbit form. Flora was stunned and dazed, lying on the floor. She hurriedly called out, Laura, no, Ewan. Ewan in rabbit form crossly closed his eyes tight, annoyed to death. Flora hugged Ewan, asking in surprise, just now you said annoyed to death, right? Ewan raised his rabbit head. What? You can hear my voice. Flora stroked Ewan's head while answering with a laugh. That is right. I can hear it very clearly. So do not use that form to speak harsh words anymore. Her fingers gently stroked the rabbit's ears. Flora's smile gentle and helpless, as if coaxing a small animal with bristled fur. Ewan's rabbit face was written full of confusion. Can you really hear my voice? What does this mean? Your mana is weak as a mosquito. How could it be telepathy? Flora's fingers suddenly pressed hard. That hurts. Flora lifted Ewan up and laughed out loud. So great. Finally I have a playmate. And a rabbit friend who can use magic at that. Ewan's rabbit face was written full of contempt. Stop dreaming. Who said they wanted to be your playmate? He raised a foot and kicked straight into Flora's face. From then on until the seasons changed, Iwin never turned into a human again. Perhaps he just did not turn into a human in front of her anymore. Flora's eyes dazzled and she collapsed. Iwin standing beside with a pouting expression. Time passed without notice. A cool autumn breeze quietly approaching. Dragonflies dotted the high, clear autumn sky, the cold growing stronger, prompting everyone to put on long-sleeved clothes. Flora ate cake while murmuring to herself, I also want to be good at magic or swordsmanship. Iwin lay on the chair, lazily speaking. In the house there is already a magic tower mage and a good swordsman. Is that not enough? Why must you do it yourself? Flora determinedly said, I want to do it myself. Iwin raised his head. Why? Are the people in the house bullying you or something? Flora shook her head. That is not it. But look, I am almost 8 years old. The only daughter in the house without any outstanding talent. Is that not very lonely? Iwin had a look of disdain. Truly an aristocratic young lady with too much drama. Just being cute is enough to be pampered. Yet asking for more. Flora suddenly stood straight up. Decided then, if magic does not work, why not learn swordsmanship? Flora rushed into the Duke's study, raising her voice to announce, Father, I want to learn swordsmanship. The Duke raised his head, eyebrows arching. Swordsmanship. Flora without hesitation. Yes, when can I start learning? Looking at his daughter's firm eyes, the Duke's heart was flooded with mixed emotions. I know she is turning 8 soon. But in my eyes she is still just a child. Yet she naturally asked to learn swordsmanship. He put down the feather pen in his hand, smiling as he suggested, You can go ask Carloman and see. Currently he is probably at the training ground. Flora's eyes immediately lit up. Really? Let me go check. She turned around and sprinted outside, her skirt creating a purple arc in the air. She rushed toward the training ground gate, calling out to her brother, Carloman. Carloman heard the voice and turned around. Flora, why did you come here? To play. Carloman lifted her up to let her sit on his arm. Their gazes level. Flora raised her head. Carloman, can you teach me swordsmanship? Father told me to ask you. Carloman pondered for a moment. This morning I am afraid not. How about tomorrow morning? Can you wake up early? Flora nodded vigorously, of course. Thank you, brother Carloman. The next morning at the Pacy Duke's mansion training ground, flags fluttered in the light breeze. The Duke stood before the formation of knights, raising his voice to instruct. Everyone listen clearly. You all know what day today is, right? The knights replied in unison. Clear, my lord. It is Lady Flora's first training session. The Duke's gaze swept across everyone. Very well. I will personally guide her. But you must also give your all to assist her. The knights shouted out once more. Clear, my lord. At the same time in Flora's bedroom, the maid gently knocked on the door. Young lady, are you awake? Flora rubbed her sleepy eyes, sitting up from the bed, her mouth making vague murmurs. The maid reminded with a smile. Today is your first day learning swordsmanship with young Master Carloman. I believe you will make fast progress. Young lady. Flora turned around, grabbing the rabbit Iwin by the bed. Wake up quickly. Let us go together. Iwin had his cheek pinched, gritting his teeth and softly growling. Do not touch me. Iwin's voice sounded in Flora's ear. Your brother is waiting. Make your move quickly. He jumped off the bed, turning into a white streak of light and disappearing outside the door. Autumn leaves fell on the training ground. Carloman looked at his sister's figure. Flora, is this outfit too heavy? Are you all right? Flora held the wooden sword tightly with both hands, her face filled with excitement. I am fine. She carefully admired the wooden sword in her hand. Neither heavy nor light. Although I know nothing about swordsmanship, this wooden sword feels great. Carloman began instructing. First let us try a diagonal slash. Hold the sword like this and swing hard down. He forcefully swung the sword. A gust of sword wind tearing through the air. Flora looked at the straw dummy sliced in two. Using a wooden sword to cut through a straw dummy. Carloman's voice came from beside. Flora, just a light tap is fine. She stood before the straw dummy practicing, her heart nervously pounding. Brother Carloman's skill is so high. Will I be able to do it? Flora took a deep breath, forcefully swinging the wooden sword. Ha! The wooden sword struck the straw dummy, making a dull sound. The spectating knights around cheered boisterously. Carloman smiled and praised. "Oh, well done, Flora." Flora had a dazed expression. Was that fine just now?" Flora sat flat on the chair, her arms limp without strength. "Tired to death. My arms cannot lift anymore." Iwin's voice sounded. "Welcome back. That performance just now was astonishing." A spark flashed in Flora's eyes. "Astonishing. Really, although my stamina is not good. It did not feel bad. Could it be I have talent?" Iwin looked at her expressionlessly. "I meant you were astonishingly bad." Flora felt like struck by lightning. "What?" In the Duke's study, Carloman stood before his father. "Father, it is me, Carloman." The Duchess raised her head. How is Flora?" Carloman had a heavy expression. "She is better than I thought. She has not a single trace of talent. I came to discuss with you. What should we do? I do not think we should let her learn swordsmanship. If it is for self-defense, having me beside to protect her would be better." The Duke asked calmly. "What is the basis of your assessment?" Carloman explained. "Flora's motor nerves are almost zero. Continuing to practice is very likely to cause severe injury." But he changed his tone. "However, she really needs physical training. So, I want to temporarily focus on basic physical training first." The Duke pondered. "I think having her occasionally hold a sword during this process should be no problem." A knock came from outside the door. Flora poked her head in. "Father, may I come in?" The Duke immediately smiled. "Flora, your first practice session must be very tiring. What is the matter, my child?" Flora walked to the front of the desk, her expression a bit discouraged. I feel like I am not suited for sports." She raised her head, her eyes holding an entreaty. "Besides swordsmanship, can I learn something else?" The Duke and Carloman looked at each other, full of surprise. She actually gave up on her own initiative. Flora clasped both hands tightly, a spark of light reigniting in her eyes. "I want to learn cooking." The Duke and Carloman said in unison. Cooking. In the Carcassonne Empire, nobles touching cooking was truly rarely seen. Even if there were, it was limited to the south where ingredients were abundant. Though among nobles of neighboring countries there were many who considered cooking a hobby. In the northern part of the empire, nobles learning cooking was something unheard of. The Duke pondered. Cooking. He raised his eyes, his gaze gentle yet firm. "I understand. If it is Flora's wish, then there is no problem. I will make preparations right away." Flora cheered and jumped. "Awesome. Thank you, Father." The Duke's mansion was bathed in autumn sunlight. Maple leaves fell like streaks of fire. A maid looked at Flora. The Duke's love for his daughter is truly bottomless. Flora stood in the brand new kitchen, her eyes sparkling. "Wow, they are truly big spenders." The Duke's voice sounded. "I specially prepared this place, hoping Flora can learn as comfortably as possible. How is it? Do you like it?" The Duchess added gently, seeing Flora have such momentum. "Mother is truly very happy." Flora snuggled into her parents' arms. "Father, Mother, thank you both." The Duke introduced a lady to Flora. "This is Nia, formerly a royal baker. Starting today she will be your cooking teacher." Nia bowed slightly. "Very nice to meet you, Lady Flora." The Duke and Duchess waved goodbye, turning around to leave the kitchen. Flora looked around. "This kitchen is so spacious and lovely. It was prepared for me by my parents. Thanks to them, I met such a good teacher." Nia gently responded. "The Duke and Duchess truly dote on you, young lady." "Right. Why does the young lady want to learn baking?" Flora tilted her head. Probably because it looks very interesting." Nia laughed. "This reason is already enough." Flora secretly calculated. Right. Before starting the official lesson, checking her status stats might be helpful. She secretly glanced at Nia. Status. A blue information board appeared behind Nia. Ability A, Assets B, Appearance B, Health A, Love B, Sorrow A, Evaluation. Carrying the memory of her deceased husband. Came alone to the north. Her favorite food is the blueberry pie her husband made when he was alive. Flora's gaze froze for a moment. This is unexpected information. All her stats are A or B, proving she comes from a quite good family. But sorrow is a losing her husband must be very painful. Flora raised her small hand. Teacher, today I want to learn how to make cookies. Nia held a bottle of ingredients. Sounds good. Then let us begin our lesson. On the table were flour, butter, chicken eggs. Flora responded excitedly. Yes. Nia began explaining. The key to baking is repetition. You must let your body remember each step. Having someone else do it from start to finish defeats the purpose. Flora focused with high concentration, using a whisk to stir the flour in the bowl. Nia held a bag of sugar. Next is sugar. She suddenly went blank. Oh my, a rabbit. Outside the window. Iwin was clinging to the windowsill. His red eyes narrowed in displeasure. Flora startled and lost her composure. Iwin, no. Laura, why are you outside the window? Iwin's voice sounded in Flora's head. I came to watch the lesson. Nia asked curiously. Is this the young lady's pet? A maid hurriedly stepped forward. Oh my, let me hold Laura. Nia breathed a sigh of relief. Then that is wonderful. Having animals in the kitchen is not very hygienic. The maid held the white rabbit from the windowsill. Flora instructed. That is right. Melanie, please take good care of it. Melanie held Iwin and sat to one side. Iwin in her arms squirmed crossly. Flora licked her lips, setting her resolve. If Iwin is watching, I must perform really well. Flora carried the baking tray, an amazed light flashing in her eyes. Wow, the baking tray is full of all kinds of cookies. Different shapes, baked until golden and crispy. Nia looked at the finished product, her eyes full of admiration. Oh my, baked so beautifully. Melanie, holding Iwin, also could not help praising. That is right. First time making it and already this successful. Flora puffed out her chest proudly, her eyes sparkling. That is only natural. Iwin, in Melanie's arms, used a suspicious gaze to evaluate the plate of cookies. Smells fine, but is this actually edible? Nia extended a finger, gently picking up a cookie. Nia reminded. Still very hot. Be a little careful. Flora reached out to touch the cookie, her face showing clear confusion. Teacher, the cookie is so soft. Did I mess it up? Nia smiled and explained. Right now it is soft. Wait until they cool down. They will harden. After that, we sprinkle chocolate decorations on top. Flora suddenly realized. So that is how it is. She carried the baking tray, turning around to walk toward the window. Iwin, in Melanie's arms, spoke up asking. Hey, where are you going? Flora opened the window, a cool autumn breeze blowing in, using cold wind to blow a bit. Should cool them down fast. On the tree branches outside the window, several sparrows chirped, attracted by the smell of cookies. They flapped their wings, flying straight toward the baking tray in Flora's hands. Flora opened her mouth in shock, letting out a cry. Ah, wait, no, these are my cookies. The sparrows did not bother to care, snatching the cookies and flying away. Flora pouted angrily. Really, a bit got eaten. Nia carried a bowl over, gently reassuring. All right, do not be sad anymore. Young lady, we still have plenty left. Let us continue finishing the rest. Flora looked at the decorated cookies, filling up a whole basket. Wow, so pretty. Nia smiled and announced. Today's lesson ends here. You worked hard, young lady. I will take my leave now. Flora's gaze turned firm, her look directed toward the distance. Flora handed 2 gingerbread cookies to Nia, her face filled with a radiant smile. Nia, thank you for teaching me to make cookies today. She turned back to Melanie, handing over a rabbit-shaped cookie. These are for you, Melanie. Melanie accepted the cookie with both hands, her eyes full of emotion. Oh my, cookies made by the young lady herself. So precious. I completely cannot bear to eat it. Flora lifted the basket filled with cookies, declaring, all right, now I have to go send some to father. She carried the basket, turning around to leave, leaving behind Nia and Melanie, who were smiling. Autumn leaves fell. Flora walked through the hallway, seeing a familiar figure. Ah, it is David. David was sitting cross-legged on the ground, using a white cloth to carefully wipe his sword, his expression focused and serious. Flora greeted enthusiastically. David. She handed over a checkerboard cookie. On her face was undisguised pride. For you. This was made by my own hands. David knelt on one knee on the ground, receiving the cookie solemnly with both hands. Lady Flora, you actually made cookies for someone like me. He bowed his head, his voice trembling with emotion. I will never forget this kindness. I swear using my life and my soul to protect you. Intel. Flora was startled by this display, hurriedly waving her hand to interrupt him. Oh, that. I still have to go give some to father. Going first. Goodbye. She turned around and walked away quickly, leaving David alone kneeling on the spot. My lady. Flora arrived in front of a lavish door. She gently pushed open a crack, poking her head in to look inside. Father, are you in there? Inside the room the atmosphere was serious. Her father sitting on the throne, discussing something with several knights. Oh, are they discussing official business? Then I will just give father the cookies and return quickly. The Duchess saw Flora, a gentle smile immediately blooming on her face. Was today's lesson fun, my child? Flora raised the cookie basket high, her tone full of cheer. Very interesting. Carloman walked over to their side, his expression serious as he announced. Flora, starting next week, Mother and I might have to leave home for a while. Flora raised her head, her eyes full of confusion. Why? Carloman explained. Recently monster sighting incidents have somewhat increased. Mother and I need to join the subjugation squad. Flora's smile froze on her face. What? Brother Carloman and Mother also have to go. Usually just father or mother. At most adding one brother is enough. This time even Brother Carloman has to go. Things must be very serious. Her father's voice carried apology. If Ermin and Robert were here, your mother could have stayed to accompany you. But the timing really. Flora puffed out her small shoulders, her eyes bright and firm. I am fine. She clasped both hands tightly, her voice clear and crisp. Melanie and Lucas will be by my side. So, no need to worry about me. Everyone outside must do your best. She smiled and waved, bidding farewell to family members about to travel far. On her face not a trace of gloom. Flora lifted 3 star-shaped cookies. On top was written respectively, Father, Mother, Big Brother. These were made by me for everyone. Her father received the cookies, his eyes revealing admiration. Oh, these are so pretty. I simply cannot bear to eat them. The Duchess laughed happily. I really want to put them in my room. Carloman smiled looking toward Flora. Thanks to you, Flora. I think our mission this time can surely go all out. The whole family sat gathered together, enjoying the cookies made by Flora's own hands. The atmosphere warm and happy. This was their last reunion before departure. Iwin lay alone on the bed, arms spread wide, feeling the changes in his body. The time I maintain human form is getting longer and longer. Continuing like this, I will soon return to the magic tower. Iwin stretched, his body relaxing on the soft bed mattress. Being lazy like this actually is not bad. He tilted his head. In his fiery red eyes a bit of thought flashed. I wonder who the next magic tower master will be. I must quickly recover my body and return. But on second thought, in a family filled with powerful strength, she is just a weak girl without any ability. If I leave, what should that child do? Memories surfaced. Iwin gently stroked Flora's head. Iwin happily narrowed his eyes. Like a small animal having its fur petted, Flora raised Iwin high, laughing happily. Iwin on one hand unwillingly squirmed. Even though this has nothing to do with me. In the morning the subjugation squad departed. Flora stood on the mansion balcony, calling out toward the distance. Everyone do not get hurt. The Pacy Duke family is strong for a reason. Not just because of their innate strength, talent and immense wealth, even more because they periodically hunt monsters that threaten the empire as winter approaches. Those hungry monsters frequently invade human territory. Therefore, hunting operations are always conducted before winter begins. The Duke wore armor, giving a thumbs up, full of confidence. Usually 3 days are needed. But I cannot leave Flora alone for that long. We will finish quickly and return immediately. The Duchess gently stroked Flora's head. Flora, you must be good and wait for us. You must be healthy. Remember to stay with Melanie. Okay. Flora nodded with all her might. Yes. Horses neighed. The figures of the subjugation squad quickly went far away. Flora and the maid stood on the steps waving goodbye, even galloping at full speed. 2 days at the fastest. Flora stood in place, her small hand unconsciously clutching a lock of hair. Everyone is not here. What should I do? Melanie leaned down close to Flora, on her face a confident smile. Please do not worry, young lady. She straightened her back, a hand placed on her chest. Melanie, will definitely make you experience the best 3 days. Flora stood in the empty main hall. Melanie behind her closed the door. Just thinking about everyone being gone. The house instantly felt a bit cold. Looks like the next 2 days. I can relax a bit. Play with you then. Flora turned around. Her fiery red eyes flashed. Where are you going? She walked quickly toward Iwin. In her voice a bit of blame. Lately, whenever I am not paying attention, you disappear again. Truly. Iwin sat on the carpet expressionlessly. Where I am does not matter. Flora placed both hands on her hips. Her eyebrows furrowed tightly. HMPH. What kind of attitude is that? Melanie suggested with a smile. Young lady, it has been a while since we went. Would you like to go to the indoor garden? Drink some hot chocolate. Eat some cake. Flora's eyes lit up. Sounds awesome. Melanie, do you want to eat with us? Melanie happily agreed. Young lady, you go to the garden to play with Laura first. Once I finish the work at hand, I will come over right away. Flora obediently nodded. Yes. She turned her head looking toward Iwin. Iwin, do you also want to drink hot chocolate? Iwin's ears twitched. Naturally, I want to drink. Flora walked in the lavish indoor garden. Feels like I have not been here in a long time. Iwin walked beside her. It really has been a long time. Flora's gaze was captured by the sight before her. Wow. She looked at the delicate cake on the table. In her eyes flashed an amazed light. Is this carrot cake? Iwin extended a small paw, secretly shifting the cake toward himself a bit. Flora looked at Iwin's small action, laughed and asked, do you like carrot cake that much? Next time I will make some for you. Iwin raised his head, his gaze serious. You better keep your promise. Flora laughed even more happily, of course. She rested her chin, changing her tone. Come to think of it, you have completely adapted to the rabbit body. Right. Is there anywhere uncomfortable? Iwin held his paws, turning his face away. I just have no other choice. Can only adapt. That is all. How could I like this body? Flora rested her cheek pondering. So strange. Iwin turned into this appearance. I do not remember his original appearance. What did his face look like? Seems to be a child around my age. Eye color. Probably like mine. Hair. Was it black? Iwin suddenly leaned close. What about black hair? Flora was startled. Oh my, you were listening. I said I do not remember Iwin's face. Things like when I was small. She asked curiously. So, how old are you really? I am turning 8 soon. You are probably around 9. Iwin poked his head out from behind the railing. That is right, but I am turning 10 soon. Flora asked curiously. You are older than me. Do you have any siblings? Iwin nibbled the cake. I have no family. Before I lived with grandmother in the slums. After grandmother passed away, I was all alone. Now living with the person who adopted me. Flora showed a warm smile. You met a good person. That is so wonderful. Iwin chewed his food, his gaze somewhat complex. Whether a good person or not is still unknown. Flora suddenly remembered. Hey, Avon, you know how to use magic. Right. How much magic do you have? A small crown appeared on top of Avon's head. Why are you asking that? Flora explained. I suddenly remembered. My magic power is very little. So I am curious about other people's magic. She smiled and added, come to think of it, I have not even measured my own magic power yet. Iwin closed his eyes. Anyway, since we are free, there is no harm in trying a bit. Iwin opened his eyes, a purple light flashing in his eyes. Flora leaned close, full of expectation. Finished measuring. How is it? Iwin tried to act calm. So. Flora frowned. What does so mean? Explain it clearly to me. My magic power is bottomless. Like an endless water source. This must absolutely not be told to her. Iwin scooped a piece of cake. What is more important? Before you said you could see other people's status. Right. Flora blinked. Are you talking about the status window? Iwin pressed. Right. That exact one. Why can you not see my status? Flora scooped a piece of cake. This. Occasionally there are people like that. Someone once told me, if you encounter them you must be careful. Iwin perked up his ears. Why? Flora chewed while recalling. Let me remember. They said those people possess magic power strong enough to repel the power of the demon realm. But it is definitely not you. Iwin. He forcefully scooped down a piece of cake. Forget it. Not bothering to argue with you anymore. Iwin looked out the window as if thinking about something. Time is running out. The discussion about the next Magic Tower Master has already begun. My time is running short. During the monster subjugation period, I must turn into human form and return to the magic tower. Flora held her teacup, gently taking a sip. Iwin looked at her silently. How should I tell her? Flora put down her teacup. Why is my heart so heavy? Night fell. A flock of birds flew past the villa under the starry sky. No one was in the room. Only the curtains gently swaying in the night wind. Flora slept soundly on the bed. Her long silver hair spread across the pillow. Iwin gently covered her with the blanket. Turning around to leave, the sound of footsteps echoed in the empty room. He stepped out of the room, his figure disappearing outside the door. Moonlight stretched across, illuminating the quiet balcony. Iwin leaned against the railing alone, looking up at the night sky. Tonight's moonlight is truly beautiful. Iwin glanced back, his gaze gentle. Really? Sleeping so soundly. He turned around, a purple magic circle lighting up under his feet, disappearing from the balcony in an instant. The next second, he appeared in front of a majestic white castle. This place is the magic tower. A white-haired old man lay on the bed, his eyes tightly closed. Iwin's figure silently appeared. The old man abruptly opened his eyes, sitting up, his tone holding a bit of dissatisfaction. Honestly, can you not enter a bit more quietly? Iwin stood at the door, the light of the magic circle under his feet gradually fading. Is this the current young mage's house? Iwin spoke expressionlessly. Old man. The old man's eyebrows arched. Now you do not even call me Tower Master anymore. He sighed. Can you not stick to one form of address? Truly an incomprehensible child. Iwin got straight to the point. Who is the next Magic Tower Master? He hid his expression. Could it be me? The old man gently stroked his beard. Originally I did not plan to tell you. He smiled helplessly. But have you not already guessed it? Truly an annoying child. Iwin's pupils contracted, sweat running down from his temples. He muttered in disbelief. Really? Me? Iwin roared. If I am the next Magic Tower Master, then why on earth did you turn me into a rabbit? The old man crossed his arms, his tone nonchalant. Why do you think? Iwin said angrily. I do not know, so that is why I am asking you. The old man closed his eyes, letting out a sigh. A child is after all still a child. Iwin could not bear it any longer. Stop calling me a child. Hurry up and explain. He clenched his fists. Is it because I did not return immediately that you got angry? Is that the reason? The old man turned around, his voice calm. Humans can only unleash their true potential when pushed to a corner. I was thinking about this matter. You happened to say some interesting things. I thought it was a good idea, so I decided to give it a try. The corner of the old man's mouth curled into a smile. However, plans cannot be entirely as wished. Is living at the Duke's house comfortable? Iwin poked his head out from behind him. I knew it. You knew everything from the start. That day you also came to see me. Right. The old man turned his face. What is more important? Seeing you grow up. I am also relieved. Your magic purity is much higher than back in the slums. Iwin's expression froze, sweat slowly rolling down. At that time memories flooded back. As a child wearing tattered clothes, holding a weak flame with both hands. That was his only warmth. I completely hid my power. I used magic to create water to wash my body. Used magic to pick fruit from trees to stave off hunger. If people in the slums found out I knew magic, they would line up to take advantage of me. Until that day. A hooded figure appeared before me. The first time I met you, I saw through your potential. He reached out his hand, as if drawn into a giant magic vortex. That was the first time I felt such immense power. I never doubted this child would one day surpass me. My only question is, the old man looked at Iwin. You are a lazy person, willing to throw your talent down the drain. Iwin jumped up in anger. A lazy person, since I came to the magic tower. You have worked me like a top. I have not even had a proper rest once. The old man crossed his arms in front of his chest. What are you saying? Training and chores are all to hone your magic skills. That is part of the course. Iwin was temporarily speechbound. I understand. But, the old man's expression was serious. I need your talent to blossom and bear fruit early. Perhaps I was too strict with you during the process. But it was all for your growth. He extended his hand, his voice unquestionable. Think about it. Without me, could you have grown to this extent within 2 years? Iwin gritted his teeth. Damn it, it is all true. I completely cannot refute it. Fine, thank you very much. Please guide me well in the future too. Satisfied. Anyway, I have no reason to stay at the Duke's house anymore. The old man nodded in satisfaction. Very good, as long as you understand. The day I retire is not far off either. The majestic villa was bathed in the morning dawn. A call shattered the quiet. Laura. Flora poked her head out from behind the bushes. Laura. Melanie looked around anxiously. Oh my. Laura, where did you go? Did it disappear again? Flora squatted down discouraged. Yes. Could not find it anywhere. Melanie held the cake. Sighing gently. Young lady even went through the trouble of making cake. Flora smiled shyly. I did not make it alone. This time Nia helped me. Hope one day I can finish it by myself. Flora looked at her gently. It is fine. Let us leave Laura's portion for now. Let us eat our portion first. Melanie picked up her fork. Yes, young lady. Flora scooped a piece of cake, dazedly putting it into her mouth. Everyone has been on the monster subjugation for 2 days already. Perhaps they will return tonight. Melanie's voice came from afar. What shall we play today? How about puzzles? Then play cards later. Flora sat alone on the luxurious sofa. Why has Laura still not returned? She looked at the cake saved for Laura on the table. Her gaze darkening. Flora stared angrily at the cake. HMPH. If it does not show up anymore, I will eat all the cake. A voice suddenly sounded. Eat what? What is this? Flora was startled. An unfamiliar black-haired young man stood before her. Laura. No. Avon. Flora's eyes widened. You turned back into your original form. At a glance, he looked like a youth she did not know. But why did he feel so familiar? Iwin walked closer. That is right. I will not turn into a rabbit anymore. The way this voice spoke was exactly the same as in rabbit form. Flora's cheeks flushed red in an instant. Iwin pointed at the cake. Is this for me? Flora turned her face away, letting out a HMPH. So what if it is? I am not going to tell you. Iwin reached out to take the cake, directly using his finger to wipe off some cream, putting it in his mouth. The two froze in an instant, the atmosphere stalling. Flora slammed the table. Hey, you are not a rabbit anymore. You must use utensils. Iwin's face flushed red, hurriedly defending. My hand moved on its own. Flora rested her cheeks in her hands, her face blushing. Really? His flustered look looks quite cute too. Even if not in rabbit form, he is quite cute. She asked eagerly. Is it delicious? Iwin picked up a fork, cutting a piece of cake. The taste is different from before. Did you change to a new baker? Flora's face instantly darkened. She asked loudly. Is it delicious or not after all? Iwin tasted it carefully, then closed his eyes. Very delicious, although different from before. I like it. Flora's eyes brightened. You always picked out the carrots, so I cut them into small pieces. That way it is much more delicious. Right. Iwin looked at the carrot bits on the cake. Is this a new recipe? You cut them small. Could it be you made this? Flora puffed out her chest proudly. I made it. Iwin was full of surprise. So impressive. Flora's cheeks turned slightly pink. I promised before to make it for you. Remember? Iwin looked down at the cake. I just did not expect you would finish it so quickly. He scooped a small piece of cake, putting it in his mouth, chewing carefully. Iwin happily narrowed his eyes. wiping the plate clean. I will make it for you to eat again. Flora smiled and leaned close. Really? She changed her tone, her voice lowering. But, you are not a rabbit anymore. You have to go back to that owner's place. Right. Iwin answered calmly. I will often come visit you. Flora asked curiously. How will you come? Iwin showed a confident smile. I know teleportation. I can come over from the balcony anytime. Flora cheered with joy in an instant. Awesome, she thought with interest. This really makes one excited. Like we have a special relationship. Being able to become close friends who meet via teleportation. Flora gave a radiant smile. Iwin suddenly became serious again. Were we not originally in a special relationship? Pet and owner. Flora's smile froze on her face. In her mind appearing the image of that arrogant rabbit. Iwin continued to press. Right, how about now? Can you still not see it? Flora had a blank expression. See what? Iwin stared at her, his gaze sharp. My identity.